Vindi, let's quickly look at the two things that you can do to find nice entries, okay? To find perfect entries. This is just going to be quick, easy, no indicators involved or any sort of special software, nothing like that, right? Before you actually buy robots or whatever that you're buying, indicators, guys, try to understand price. Try to understand price first, okay? Try to understand price and also try to use logic when you're buying and selling these assets, okay? So obviously, if you've been following me for some time, you'll know that when I sell, I want to sell extremely high. When I buy, I want to buy extremely low. So that's the logic that I'm going to be using to show you now. So say we're looking at, let me see, which instrument is this actually? Say we're looking, okay, this is the volatility 100. Okay, so let's say we're looking at this particular index chart right here. And if I was to mark the highest point that we have in this case, which is this on daily, okay, and you can see that price is back up almost to the same area, which is the resistance, right? That's the first thing that I've established as to where price is on a much higher time frame. Obviously, for this case, I'm using daily. You can use any other time frame, can use H4. But the main point of me doing this is so that when we move to lower time frames, you are not confused. As you can see, we are on resistance. That's the first thing that you have to acknowledge, right? First, find, establish structure, higher time frame structure. Number two, obviously, ask yourself if you're a buyer or a seller with respect to that structure. In my case, I am more confident selling on resistance. Obviously, I'm more confident selling on resistance and more confident buying on support. Okay, I do not want to find myself buying resistance. Okay, I want to sell resistance as always. Okay, so I want to sell as high as possible. That's another step. The next step, obviously, now will be for you to switch time frames. I am just going to randomly switch a time frame. I teach about aligning time frames on the 31 days online classes. They run for 31 days, 31 days, 31 days, not 2 days, but 31 days. Okay, so that's why I teach how to align time frames in detail. Unfortunately, this video, it's not all about that. It's just some few tips that you can actually use to actually find better entries, right? First of all, establish where price is on a much higher time frame. Okay, that's the first step. And then once you're done with that, shift to a smaller time frame. There isn't a logic as to which time frame you can switch for, but I teach that in detail, like I said, on the other side. Okay, so if you switch to a new time frame, you can see that now things are looking a little bit much better, and it looks like it's different from what we've seen. But remember, we've already established where price is on the first step, which is on resistance. So what you want to do is to actually take decisions that aligns with this resistance. If you look at this, you can see there's a dynamic structure, which is this moving average. You don't need this, as I've said, that you don't need any sort of indicators, or you can use draw a trend line, because you can see there's an uptrend. Okay, so for a trend line, just use any 2 points, can connect any 2 points, the equation of a straight line. I've done a video on that. Check it in the channel. On the channel, there's a whole bunch of other videos. If you're coming here for the first time, of course, don't forget to like, subscribe if this is cool. If you like this, check some other videos. You might probably like the content. Okay, so I've drawn this trend line now, but remember that our main goal is to actually do what? To sell the resistance. How are we going to sell the resistance if this trend line is busy supporting price? Okay, you can see this trend line is carrying price to the upside. That's another step. What you want to do is to actually look for what? Sell opportunities. Yes, sell opportunities. So what you want to do is to wait for this supporting trend line to stop supporting. Okay, because this supporting trend line, it's supporting buyers up, and you don't want to buy. You don't want to buy, you want to sell. But this trend line is busy supporting buyers to the upside, and you are not a buyer. So what do we do in this case? We need to wait for this supporting trend line to be violated. In other words, we need to wait for this supporting trend line to actually be broken. Okay, as soon as this is broken, then we can start looking at opportunities to sell this particular chart. Yes, there is a whole bunch of things that you can do as when it comes to selling this. I think there is a bunch of Telegram videos that I've done. Just go over to the Vindi Telegram channel. You will see a whole bunch of videos. If you scroll up, you will see them. They are not on YouTube, they are on Telegram. So make sure that you're part of that Telegram channel. It's for free. Once more, even YouTube subscribing is for free. Some people, they think when you click the subscribe button, you're going to be charged money or whatever the case might be. It's free. You just click there, subscribe, and then you turn that notification bell so that when I upload another video, you will be notified. You won't see the video after 50 years or whatever, right? So make sure that you actually subscribe if you like the content once more. And if you look at this, there is a possibility that price could push up. But the main thing that we are paying attention to is this trend line, okay? So the conditions are, we are not gonna, let me see if I can come up with a weird formula if it's possible. We are not gonna sell, we cannot sell if the trend line, which is the TL, is not broken. Does it make sense? I hope it does. Just use logic. We cannot sell if the trend line is not broken. In other words, the one condition that we're going to use to sell this particular guy, if you're selling this particular zone that we've established on lower time frames, doesn't matter how low or which time frame we're looking or which time or other chart we're looking at. But the condition is we are not going to sell if this trend line is not broken. Why is that so important? Because this trend line is the one that is carrying what? It's carrying buyers. It's the one that is carrying buyers. And if you're a seller, you need to actually wait for this trend line to be broken and then more to the downside. Okay, is that clear? I hope that is clear. And if you've been trading for some time, you might have noticed that this is the only conservative way that is gonna actually help you stay away from chasing price and just selling without any sort of a signal. So here it's a war between buyers and sellers, with buyers pushing price to the upside here, and then with sellers pushing price to the downside. Can you see that? So it's a war between sellers up here and the war between buyers down here. So as a seller, you need to make sure that this war is over. Like sellers are taking over. So as soon as sellers breaks out of this buyers territory, obviously that is going to be a cool move, or rather a cool signal that price is ready to go down. I believe this is easy. This is very easy in my opinion. I believe this is going to be easy. Just go around, check it out through other instruments. This doesn't only work on the volatility index, it works on any other chart that you can think of. It also works on Nasdaq, it also works on currencies, also works on commodities. If you're looking at stocks, you're looking at shares, you're looking at bonds, equities, and all those things. This works across all those instruments. So make sure you're just trying to assess the war between buyers and sellers. And once you can establish where buyers are or what buyers are doing and where sellers are, it becomes much easier. So in my case, you have seen step one was to establish where price is on a much higher time frame, and then step two was to move to a lower time frame. Of course, this sounds very easy, but I'll take you step by step on the 31 days online classes. You do not have to join that. You do not have to join that. You should know by now, if you've been following, that I'm not a join type. I am not, and I will never ever be. You don't have to join that. Just you don't have, as a matter of fact, you don't have to join anyone's classes in order for you to be super profitable. Don't listen to people who blackmail you into buying classes, expensive indicators and robots and all the chandies. Right? Make sure there is a whole bunch of content. I'm going to say this again. There's a whole bunch of content on YouTube that you can use. There's a whole bunch of content online. But if you feel like, I like this content much better, or explain things much better, feel free to be part of the family. I am not saying join. Do not. That's why I'm saying there's a whole bunch of other YouTube channels or other content online that you can use and can be profitable from. Never ever let mentors who are actually hungry for money, never ever let them actually to bully you and say that you are nothing, hey, you are missing out and all those things. Yeah, most of those things are said for people to market their classes, there are indicators, there are robots and all that. And a whole bunch of people, they fail and fall into that. And at the end of the day, you find that you've now bought an expensive software that's not making money back, or you've bought an expensive course that's not actually very, very, very fruitful, or it's not bearing any positive results on your end. So make sure that you look into those particular things. Don't be bullied. Don't allow mentors to bully you into buying things just because maybe they're showing you things that you do not have. I think that's one thing that these guys have mastered. They show you something that you do not have, and obviously if you don't have it and you want it, you're going to believe whatever that they're telling you. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about you. It's all about what you're going to do when you're trading. It's not all about what you've seen. Okay, so also pay attention to that. Obviously, mentors don't say these things because that's where the money comes from. The money comes from classes, doesn't come from trading. So I have to be honest. Obviously, I have to be super honest with people. So make sure there's a whole bunch of content that you can grab online. Go ahead and look out for that. All right, I've said that. So if you're a mentor and you're watching this and you're thinking, this guy's killing my business, learn how to trade properly. Make money with trading instead of marketing things all over and over again. Okay, make sure that you trade the market. All right, before I talk too much, I think I've deviated a lot. Let me just do a recap. The first thing that I did was to look at that structure. Let's see, maybe we can look at another chart. Let's see if we can look at another. Okay, so if we're looking at the volatility 75, obviously this is daily. I'm just starting randomly on daily. Can start on weekly if that's the thing. Okay, so if you come down here, the first thing that I'm looking at, it's actually some structure that was broken there, but it's not very important. Or we are looking at, let's see, we are a little bit lower than we were before. We're not extremely high, but we are high if we were to look at this particular portion of the chart. We are high, but not extremely high. So for the past couple of weeks, we came down to this point. So in my opinion, we are a little bit lower than we were a couple of weeks ago. So if you come down, you can see this move to the downside. So the first thing that I have to mark, obviously, structures. I teach about how to draw zones on the other side. As I've said, there's a whole bunch here. I'm just going to do shortcuts and so that the video doesn't take long, but I do teach step by step on how to do most of these things that I'm doing now. So I've established structure somewhere around that point, as you can see, and price is back to that particular level, as you can see that. Okay, so if this is my support structure, which is the first thing that you need to identify, the support structure or resistance structure. So if you move to another time frame, I'm just going to move randomly. You can see that this particular structure held for some time, and sellers were busy riding this sort of a trend there until they were violated. Can you see that? That's another thing. So sellers were eventually violated somewhere down here, and then we see now buyers are attempting to push higher. So you can see that sort of a relationship between sellers and buyers, but the confirmation only came from the violation of these sellers. As a buyer, of course, if you're buying there, but this goes with if you know how to draw zones properly, which is something that I do not teach here, but on the other side. Okay, if you know how to draw zones properly, or your support and resistance properly, I'm not talking about you drawing them using lines like that or something of this nature, but as zones, because these are, keep in mind, these are fed regions, these are areas, these are not just price lines, these are fed regions where you're most likely to see buyers and sellers fighting. So you can see that the relationship, if you're buying this particular support and you're looking at the way the sellers, what the sellers are doing, you can see sellers got broken out, or rather price broke out of that trend line and gave some sort of a head and shoulder pattern, which is a reversal pattern. And we can see price most likely to push even higher to create a new move to the upside. Okay, that's another thing that you can look at in this case, right? I hope it makes sense. But you can see how I've combined what is happening up there and what's happening down there. If this still feels confusing, once again, I'm gonna teach some of these things probably on Telegram or on the 31 days online classes. Okay, otherwise let me shut this down. If you like this video, more a like there, and more your comment. Okay, shop.